Alright, welcome to Chef's Take. I'm your host, Michael Zavlaris. Today is April 15th, 2023. It has been roughly 2 months since the last time I posted on YouTube, and last time I posted on YouTube was, around the time of the Super Bowl. So, let's get right into it. So today was the first day of the NBA playoffs, and this is I'm not even joking. It's my sixth time recording this because for whatever reason the audio wasn't working on the first two videos. I don't know why that was, but I don't know. It's my sixth time doing it, so let's just get right into the NBA playoffs. So today was the first day of the playoffs. I wanted to talk about the play-in, but since we're in the playoffs now, it really doesn't matter. But the Sixers and Nets were the first game of the playoffs, and they won by 20 points, 121 to 101. The Sixers, their shooting in the first half was abysmal. We were shooting 47.2% from the floor, while Brooklyn shot just under 56%. However, we made 21 threes. We made almost half of our threes, so that's what won us the game. On top of that, PJ Tucker, man, he got all of the rebounds. And the Nets had 19 turnovers. We only had 8, so we were pretty disciplined throughout the game. PJ Tucker had a great game. Sure, he had 6 points, but his defense and his rebounding were great today. 7 rebounds, most of them were on offense, and he had 5 steals. Harden, he didn't shoot well from the floor in general, but he went 7 of 13 from 3, 23 points, 13 assists, 4 rebounds. Embiid, despite being double-teamed literally every single possession before he even touches the ball, 26 points, 7 of 15 shooting, and 2 blocks. So yeah, we did pretty good. But like I said, our shooting today was atrocious, but we still won by 20 points. Mikal Bridges dropped 30 points. Cam Johnson was doing pretty well. Other than that, no one really showed up for Brooklyn. So, that was it for the Sixers game. But before I get into the rest of the games, I wanted to give my picks for all of the season awards and the rest of I'll talk about the rest of the playoff games in a minute. But I wanted to get to the predictions for my awards first. So let me get that up right now. All right, here we go. So this is a Google spreadsheet that's been around for at least 5 years, and it shows all of the ballots for all the awards such as Sixth Man, MVP, Most Improved Player, All NBA, and Defensive Player of the Year. Now, it's already been official who won Coach of the Year, but I would have voted for Mike Brown. He, the coach for the Sacramento Kings. He, De'Aaron Fox, and Domantas Sabonis led the Sacramento Kings to the playoffs for the first time in over a decade. So he definitely deserves the award. And in fact, last time I checked, the Kings are beating the Warriors right now. Oh, now it's only a 2-point game. But yeah, the Kings did really well this year. They're statistically a top 3 offense last time I checked. But yeah, he definitely deserves it. On to, as you see right here, Sixth Man of the Year. I really don't think it's up for debate. Well, you kind of could, but Malcolm Brogdon, I think, should be, he has my vote for Sixth Man of the Year. He's been consistent all year, great on defense, and on top of that, he is top 5 in three-point percentage throughout the regular season at 44.4%. Emmanuel Quickley did really well this year too, but he was kind of streaky. Like, he would drop like a 30-point game or a 40-point game here and there, but he wasn't as consistent as Brogdon, who would constantly get you like 15 to 20 points a night with these. So yeah, I believe Brogdon has my vote for sixth man of the year, and I think he's going to win the award. So that's it for sixth man. Now on to rookie of the year. Paolo Banchero, this really shouldn't be a discussion, but Paolo Banchero, he has my vote, and he was very close to winning the award unanimously, but someone from the Salt Lake Turbine, I forget how you pronounce it, I don't know, Tribune, my bad, I'm dyslexic, not really. Of course, someone who represents the Utah Jazz voted for Walker Kessler. Kessler did good this year, but he wasn't on Paolo's level. But this Andy Larson, he did back up his vote. He doubled down on it, saying, "Hey, well, if you look at these advanced statistics, he leads them by far." But here's the thing: I'm going to go by what Kevin Durant said. Kevin Durant tweeted out a couple years ago, "Who wants to look at graphs when talking about hoops?" Yeah, here's the actual tweet. "Who the fuck wants to look at graphs while having a hoop conversation?" I completely agree, and Jokic fans are the same way. I don't understand. Like, no one ever talked about these advanced statistics until Jokic popped up. Like when people were talking about MJ and like LeBron, they would never talk about value over replacement player, LeBron, win shares per 48, all this stupid, meaningless shit. Like, you have Jokic fans providing advanced defensive statistics showing that, oh, he is not a bad defender. Motherfucker, excuse my language. I watched quite a few Nuggets games this year, and the Nuggets were playing against below-average teams like the Raptors, and they were actively attacking Jokic and scoring with ease. It doesn't take rocket science to know that Jokic is not good on defense. He's not good on defense. I can't stand when people bring up these pointless advanced statistics in I can't, like, when they bring these freaking advanced statistics up in basketball. It's stupid. The only quote-unquote advanced statistic I would consider looking at is plus-minus, because that shows you how much an impact player has when on the floor and off the floor. So that's pretty much it. But yeah, Paolo Banchero, I believe, is the rookie of the year. It's no discussion, honestly. Most improved player. Marketing. I think Marketing should have been unanimous. But some people did vote for SGA, who had a great season too. But this is a most improved player award, not the best player. Because here's the thing. We all knew SGA was that dude. We already knew that. He did have a great season this year. I mean, technically he is an MVP candidate because he has like 5th place votes, even though he didn't make the playoffs, which is honestly insane. But he did have an amazing season. But in terms of most improved, that has to go to Lauri Markkanen. Last season, he was scoring under 15 points a game. Next thing you know, he signs with Utah, and he just explodes. He's dropping 40 points here, 40 points there. He's had a career year this year, 26 points. He did great this year, and that's why I would vote for him for most improved player. And as you see these ballots, I really like J.J. Redick's ballot and Chris Herring's ballot of Sports Illustrated. They both have amazing ballots. I love them. Nick Claxton definitely improved this year, especially on defense. Like, now he's a hybrid defender. He can defend in the perimeter now. Mikal Bridges significantly improved this year. He was essentially a role player throughout the majority of his career. This year, he's scoring around 17 points, which is good for a player of his caliber, especially given, he has CP3 and Devin Booker. He had 17 points with the Suns. Then he gets traded to Brooklyn, and he dropped multiple 30-point games, and he averaged 26 points a game with the Nets, and he dropped 30 points against the Sixers today. He significantly improved, especially from being a role player to being the number one player on another team, showing that much improvement. He definitely deserves to be mentioned for most improved player. But, yeah. I also really like the fact that Jalen Brunson was mentioned. Brunson improved a lot this year. From being the number 2 man in Dallas to being, you could argue, the number 1 man in New York. Some people will say Randall, but honestly, I feel like Brunson significantly helped the Knicks. Honestly, Brunson and Randall are 1A and 1B. They both average around the same points. They have similar stats, honestly. So you could argue that he's a 1A, 1B, but Brunson proved this year that he can lead a team. 24 points a game. Last year he was averaging 16. He also has 6 assists this year compared to 3 last year. So he did 5 assists last year, but he proved that he can lead a team. He proved that he's not Luka's sidekick. With them losing Brunson, with the Mavericks losing Brunson, you saw the result. They couldn't even get it done with Kyrie Irving. Now, granted, defense was a factor, but here's the thing. When they had Brunson, they were in the playoffs. This year, without Brunson, they didn't make the playoffs, so he made a significant impact. But going to the Knicks, he proved that he can be a number 1 on a team. And I love that he was mentioned. But like I said, I believe Lauri Markkanen deserves the award without a doubt. Next, we have Defensive Player of the Year. And my first time recording this was on this past Monday. And Evan Mobley was leading the race. And that actually caught me off guard. Because I would have voted for Jaren Jackson Jr., and I still would vote for him. And at the time, he was the heavy favorite to win it. So I was shocked to see Evan Mobley leading. But as you see right now, it's not really up for conversation. It's not really up for debate. The only debate we have is who would be second for Defensive Player of the Year, as it's neck and neck between Brook Lopez and Evan Mobley. Brook Lopez did great on defense this year too, but Jaren Jackson Jr., oh my God, he's been a freak. He's been getting the steals and the blocks. So I would definitely vote for Jaren Jackson Jr., as he has half of the first place ballots. Now, I want to clarify that in order to win these awards, you have to have you have to lead in total points. So the first place votes, you can't win it based off of first place votes. It's on total. However, first place votes do help you significantly, as each vote consists of the most points. I don't know what it is for I think for Defensive Player of the Year, each first place vote is 5 points. Each second place vote is 3 points. And I think each third place vote is 1 point. I want to say 1 point or 2 points. It's one of the two, but getting the first place votes helps you a lot, but you need to win it by total points. Because if you're leading the first place vote by, 2 points or 2 votes, it's not really going to help you. You have to go by total. But I do like that Jaren Jackson Jr. is leading it, and that's who I would vote for. He's played outstanding defense this year. Now on to the All-NBA teams. So this is the 5th time I'm recording this, like I said, so my All-NBA teams are fresh in my mind, but before I get into them, I need to take a sip of my drink because it's dry as fuck in this room. Now look, if there's a potential employer watching, if you hire me, I won't be this vulgar, but since this is my own show, I can essentially do whatever I want, but I show courtesy to others. So if you need someone for a sports podcast, come to me. You will not regret it. So, I think next year is the first year where they do the All NBA teams positionless. It would no longer be 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center, which I love. I call it the Embiid rule because Embiid had to be on the All-NBA second team despite being a runner-upper for MVP the past 2 seasons because he and Jokic shared the same position, which I found stupid. Like, it makes no sense. Even if it was Jokic, look, let's say Embiid won the past 2 years. Even if Jokic was on the All-NBA second team and he was like the runner-upper, it would feel so wrong because when you're like the runner-upper, when you're like second in MVP, it essentially means you're the second best player in the league that season. So it's like it's stupid. I'm glad they're finally changing it, but based on everyone's ballot right here, I don't think it's going to be the case. So I think next year will be the positionless All-NBA teams. But without further ado, I will provide you with my All-NBA teams. So for All-NBA first team, for center, I'm going with Embiid. My 2 forwards are going to be Giannis and Jason Tatum. And my 2 guards are going to be SGA and Donovan Mitchell. So my All-NBA first team is Embiid, Giannis, Tatum, SGA, Donovan Mitchell. Next, we have All-NBA second team. It will not let me scroll. What the hell is going on? This thing's frozen. All-NBA second team, I'm going to go with Nikola Jokic as my center. My 2 forwards are going to be Jimmy Butler and Jaylen Brown. And my 2 guards are going to be De'Aaron Fox and Luka Doncic. I would have loved to have Luka on here, but his team missed the play-in. Like it's really hard to put Luka there, but I mean the top 5 guys, like my All-NBA first team, each of those 5 guys are the top 5 in the MVP race. Even though the MVP race is only 3 people, the other 2 that were getting some 4th and 5th place votes were Mitchell and SGA. So they have to be on my first team. But yeah, my All-NBA second team will be Jokic, Jimmy Butler, Jaylen Brown, De'Aaron Fox, and Luka Doncic. And my All-NBA third team. Now, not many people are going to like my All-NBA third team at first. But here's why. Actually, I'm going to tell you who's on my third team first, and I'll explain to you why it is the way it is. So, for my All-NBA third team, my center is Domantas Sabonis. My 2 forwards are Lauri Markkanen and Julius Randle. And my 2 guards are John Morant and Jalen Brunson. Now, people are probably going to wonder, like, why don't you have Dame, Steph, LeBron, or like Kevin Durant or like Kawhi, like Kawhi Leonard or any of those guys on there? Well, here's the thing. They all have one big thing in common. None of them played 60 games. They all played under 60 games. And I really can't put a player on there who hasn't played 60 games. So that's why my list is the way it is. But I will tell you for my second, what's it called? John Morant is a lock for me for my for a third guard, because like I said, he did play more than 60 games. But I was really debating between Brunson and Jrue Holiday this year for the third team. You can't go wrong with either, but I wanted to go with Brunson. But like I said, I'm strictly doing it this way because I'm looking at the amount of games they play. That plays a huge factor in my ballot. In my my ballot. If I didn't look at it that way, which is what some people do, I would have had, like Dame, Steph, LeBron on there. And here's the thing, Kevin Durant didn't even play 50 games. He played 48. And people are saying, like, Kevin Durant's the first player to have a 55, 40, and 90 season. That is really impressive. However, he barely played half the season. Like, it's a small portion, and it's like a small portion of the season he played. Like, it's a small measurement, so of course the numbers are going to look good. Now, it's still impressive. Don't get me wrong, but then again, he didn't even play 50 games. So, however, in his last 22 games, he did go 20-2. Now that is really impressive. But I'm not bashing Durant for that. It's remarkable, 55, 40, and 90. But like I said, he didn't play a lot of games. Now, it would be really, really, really good if you played like 70 games, because at that point, you played like the majority of the season. So, but yeah, that's why my list is the way it is. So I'm gonna do a brief summary on all my teams. First team, you have Embiid, Giannis, Tatum, SGA, Donovan Mitchell. All-NBA second team, you have Jokic, Butler, Jaylen Brown, Luka, and De'Aaron Fox. All-NBA third team, you have Sabonis, Randall, Markkanen, Brunson, and Ja Morant. Like I said, because of the amount of games they played a huge factor in that. So, yeah, that's my list. And here's the thing with Dame, I can't blame Dame for not playing enough games, because the Trailblazers did shut him down for the year despite him being healthy. I don't know what happened to my mic, but that was weird. So, yeah, that's it for my All-NBA teams. We can talk about it in the comments all you'd like. I'm all for it. We can talk about it. So, yeah. Now on to the one that everyone is looking forward to. MVP. Now let me get my drink real quick. So, as you see, Embiid is the heavy favorite to win the award. He has 28 of the 42 first place votes, and he also has the majority of total points by 128 points. Like I said, the closest race in the MVP race is for second place between Giannis and Jokic. Now, I'm voting for Embiid without being biased. Without being biased, I'm picking Embiid. Embiid, like, you have to watch the games. With a lot of you can't just look at just the numbers. Here's what happened. He's played phenomenal all season. Sure, we started out 12-12, but we finished the season 54-28. Therefore, after that 12-12 start, we went 42-16, which was the best record in that time frame. Embiid started the season without having Maxey or Harden for quite some time. They each missed like at least 15 games. So, Embiid had to put the team on his back, and he's been delivering. This is the second straight season where he led the league in scoring. Now that doesn't really mean much, leading the league in scoring. It's a good accomplishment, but you have players on really bad teams that win it. But for a player of his caliber and on the team he's on, that's amazing. So, here's the thing. You can make a really good argument for each of the three MVPs this year as to why they should win it. You can make a really good argument. This, I think, is the best MVP race I've seen in quite some time. Because most seasons, it's usually between two players. This year, it's between the final three, and it's like it was like a lot of people were talking about it. Each of them were the favorite for a little bit. You can make really good arguments as to why each of them should win the award. Jokic and Giannis are the first seeds. Jokic, the first center to average at least 25, 10, and 8. Giannis, the first player since Wilt to average 30, 10, and 5. Embiid, the first center since Bob McAdoo to win the scoring title as a center in back-to-back seasons. Embiid also had the most consecutive 30 and 10 games and wins this year. Also the most 30 and 10 games this year. He also went ballistic scoring-wise. Of course, he won the scoring title. And he's great on defense, as is Giannis. But you can also make cases as to why each of them shouldn't win the award. Here's the thing. You can make an argument for all of them. With Embiid, you can say that the Sixers had the best record without when Embiid doesn't play compared to the Bucks when Giannis didn't play and the Nuggets when Jokic didn't play. For Giannis, you can say that he missed the most games amongst the three. And on top of that, his team had he had all-star teammates this season. Embiid didn't. I don't know if Jokic did or not at the top of my head. Let me take a look real quick. I don't know. Whatever. But Giannis did have the better team around him. Like, Jrue Holiday stepped up when Giannis was out and whatnot. And with Jokic, you can say the Nuggets died out at the end, and Jokic started missing a lot more games because of an injury. And on top of that, because he's not good on defense. But here's something I want to talk about too. I never really liked the fact that media analysts get to vote and decide who wins these awards and not, because all of these awards are narrative based. And who creates these narratives? The media. These people are the ones that can easily manipulate the races. And we've seen it happen quite a few times this season. Jokic led the MVP race for quite a while, for like a big chunk of the season. Then Kendrick Perkins comes out and says, like, oh, well, it's a race thing. And on top of that, Jokic is a stat patter. Here's the thing. Like, I really didn't want to buy into the whole stat padding thing, but I'm not saying he does. But I was watching a few Nuggets games this season, and Jokic, there was a game, it was against the Raptors. Jokic had literally a wide open shot in the paint. He was, I'm not even joking, like 6-7 feet away from the basket. Wide open shot, and they needed the points because they were down by like 8 with like a minute 45. I forget how long, but they needed the points. The points would have helped them. Instead of shooting the ball, he passed it to like Michael Porter Jr., who was literally being double covered. And I looked at Jokic's stats as soon as he did that, and he was like an assist or two away from a triple-double. But so I looked at them like, Perkins may have a point, but then again, I don't want to buy into that. But when I saw that, I was like, oh, well, I can see why he says it. Like, there were games where the Nuggets would be up by so many points, like 25 points with a couple minutes left, and Jokic is still in the game. There were games where the Sixers would be up by so much. Embiid, they take Embiid out of the game. There's at least 5 games this year where Embiid hasn't played in the fourth quarter. And even like the second half, for that matter, like when we played the last time we played the Bulls, Embiid only played like 16, 17 minutes because we were up by so many points going into halftime. There was no need for him to play. So there's that. But yeah, you can make an argument for all 3 guys this year. But for me, I have to pick Embiid. He was just on another level this season. And this does not affect my This does not affect the way I vote for it, but I was watching the highlights of the three guys because the NBA posted the highlights of the three finalists for MVP. Embiid had like the best, not being biased at all, Embiid had the best highlights out of all of them. He's sitting here hitting these step-back threes, fadeaway jumpers, game winners, a lot of shots in double cover, like while being double-teamed. All of Jokic's highlights were all passes, and every single one of Giannis's highlights were run and dunks or run and layups. Like, it was the same thing for Giannis and Jokic. So, like, I was looking at the tape, like, it's the same thing over and over now. Jokic is great at passing. And Giannis is great at attacking the rim, but the highlights didn't really compare to Embiid's at all. Embiid is doing all this mid-range stuff, step-back threes, all these crazy circus and ones and whatnot. Plus, all these chase-down blocks and whatnot. Jokic, I did not see a single defensive highlight for Jokic at all. With Giannis, you saw defensive highlights. With Embiid, you saw defensive highlights, including my favorite defensive play of his this season had to be when he blocked Ja Morant's dunk. That can easily be game of the year too. That was such an awesome game. But yeah, that was a great play. That's probably my favorite defensive play. But another one I really liked was against the Cavaliers. And someone explained it perfectly. I don't know if it was JJ Redick or not, but Embiid went to go jump and contest one of these Cavs shots, but the Cavs player who had the ball, he passed it to an open player who was on the other side of Embiid, and Embiid was in the air when he passed it. Embiid came right back down and blocked it. Like, he did that shit really quick. That's another one I like, but the best one, everyone's favorite, has to be the block on Ja. But yeah, like I said, Embiid is my pick for MVP. He's been on another level this season. So, but like I said, you can make an argument for all three guys. So, yeah. Embiid is my MVP. So that's it for the awards. So let's talk about the playoffs now. I don't know what the hell happened to this freaking thing. Yeah, let's talk about the playoffs. Here we go. Oh, Jesus. All right, let's talk about the playoffs. Here's the bracket. Now, quite a few games have happened today, but I wanted to give I gave my predictions before the game. And what's it called? I gave my predictions yesterday, and I'm gonna stick by them. But I want to talk about the games that occurred today first. So we already talked about the Sixers and Brooklyn. That was the first game. As I expected, the Sixers won the game with ease, and yeah, it was just a really good game for the Sixers. I mean, the shooting was abysmal, but we picked it up in the second half. Next game, we have the Hawks and Celtics. That game went as exactly how I expected it to. The Celtics won by double digits. Honestly, if you shut down Trae Young, that's it for the Hawks. That's how I look at it. There's like that's it. Like, they got like locked up too. And I wasn't surprised. Trae Young had 16 points, 5 of 18 shooting. DeJounte Murray had 24 points on 10 for 25 shooting, and he has not made a single three in his 6 attempts. So I wasn't surprised at all. I said it yesterday when I recorded it for like the 5th time, and go figure, no audio. But I'd said I said that I think Boston sweeps Atlanta. I think Boston wins in 4 games. For the Sixers and Nets, I had the Sixers in 5 because I feel like the Nets could pull one off. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was a sweep. Next game, we had the Knicks and Cavaliers. The Knicks won the game 101-97. I have this series going to 7 games. I picked the Cavs in 7, but I would not be surprised if the Knicks win. And you guys know me. I say this a lot. And I said it a lot with all my football predictions. This series can go either way. It really can. Like, there's no clear-cut winner. There's, like, no clear-cut pick in this. Like, it's like 50-50. That's how close it is between the two teams in this series. Jalen Brunson, who I have on my All-NBA third team, had 27 points in 29 minutes. Julius Randle had 19 points and 10 rebounds. Unfortunately, he shot like shit, 7 of 20. So did R.J. Barrett. He went 2 for 12. Josh Hart came up big, 17 points, 8 of 11 shooting, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. Josh Hart is a jack of all trades. I would love to have him on the Sixers. He can do everything. So, but yeah, I really wasn't surprised by this. Honestly, the only person that showed up for the Cavs was Donovan Mitchell. He had 38 points, and the next closest scorer was Garland with 17. So yeah, Mitchell carried, but it wasn't enough. So, yeah, I see this series going to 7, but I'm picking the Cavaliers. Next, we have the Warriors and Kings. The Kings won 126 and 123. In fact, they were playing while I was recording this. I see this going to 6-7 games too, honestly, because both teams are great. But both teams are great offensively, but the Warriors I think are better defensively, and I really think the Warriors win it in 6, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to 7 games. But yeah, I'm picking the Warriors to win this series. I don't know how many games. I'm going to go 6. So tomorrow we have the Lakers and Grizzlies, which I think is going to go to 7 games. A lot of people are picking the Lakers to win the series. I don't think the Lakers have enough firepower to beat the Grizzlies in a 7-game series. I think it goes to 7, but I just don't think they have enough juice to do it. Just keep in mind, they have to be healthy. They don't have the firepower. I can't see it happening. So yeah, I'm picking the Grizzlies in 7. The Heat and Bucks are tomorrow. I think the Bucks win in 5. The Heat, honestly, they're not the team they were last year and in the bubble. They're not that same team. Someone posted on Twitter, of all places. Now I know if I reference Twitter, I'm going to lose all credibility. But someone joked around saying, once the Heat lose in the first round, Jimmy Butler is going to demand a trade back to Philly, and I'm thinking that would be so awesome. Trade Tobias away, assuming they would accept it. But yeah, Butler. If Butler came back, that would be awesome. Butler's my second favorite player in the league. People who know me, they know I love Jimmy Butler, great player, but I don't see anyone stopping the Bucks at all. I really don't. So, yeah. Next, we have the Clippers and Suns. This would have been an awesome series if Paul George was healthy, but Sharania said that Paul George will most likely not be playing in the first round. So that kind of screws everything up for the Clippers, who've been a dark horse for a while, honestly. So, yeah, I'm going to pick the Suns. I'm going to take the Suns in 6. I just seriously don't know who's going to stop KD, Booker, and CP3. Because on offense, the Clippers only have Kawhi, pretty much. That's it. Next, we have the Timberwolves and Nuggets. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this series goes to 7 games. But it's close. My gut is telling me to take the Timberwolves in this series, but I'm going to take the Nuggets in 6. we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's it for that's what I have for the first round. For the second round, we would have the Bucks and Cavs. I would take the Bucks in 4. Celtics and Sixers, I hate to say it, but Celtics in 6. It's going to piss me off. I really want the Sixers to get out of the second round. We haven't done that in over 20 years, and it pisses me off. Here's the thing. We're like the Cowboys. The Sixers are the Cowboys of the NBA. We always talk about that this is the year we finally do something. This is the year we finally go to the finals, make it out of the second round. And we just choke in the playoffs every year, no matter how much noise we think we're making. I hate to say it, but it pains me, but it's true. I hope we get over the hump this year. I really do think this team is different compared to previous years, like last year. Last year, I refused to believe it, but it was always in my mind. Last year, we just weren't ready. Harden wasn't 100%. This year, though, he's been playing really well. And it's blasphemous that he is not even on an All-NBA team. I would have loved to put him on there, but there were players who did have better seasons. So, yeah. Next, we have the Nuggets and Suns. I'm taking the Suns in 6. There's no one on that team is going to stop any of those players on the Suns. I'm sorry. Nuggets defense is atrocious, and I don't see any of them stopping KD or Booker. Next, we have the Warriors and Grizzlies. I'm taking the Warriors again. So now we would have the Suns and Warriors. I would honestly... I might take the Warriors. I did pick the Suns yesterday to go to the finals, but the Warriors do have... Their defense is pretty good. I really don't know how Phoenix is on defense. But, yeah, I can see Wiggins containing Kevin Durant just enough to where Golden State can pull off some wins. So I'm going to go Warriors in 7. Then we have the Bucks and Celtics. This is another close one, but I'm going to go with the Bucks. That's going to 7 games as well. It's just going to be really, really tough. I don't know who's going to stop Giannis on that team. Both teams are great on defense, but I don't know who's going to stop. I don't know who's going to stop Giannis. There's no one on the Celtics that can stop Giannis. There are players on the Bucks though that can stop. Players like Drew. No, there are players on the Bucks that can stop the Celtics, like Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Like Drew Holiday and Giannis can shut him down with ease, and Chris Middleton isn't terrible on defense either. And plus, you have Brook Lopez. That's the thing. That's another thing I wanted to talk about with MVP. Sure, Giannis has a great argument, but at the same time, he literally has teammates who are in the race for 6th Man of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. Jokic and Embiid don't have either of those. So that's another thing you can say against Giannis if you wanted to. But yeah, I see the Bucks winning in 7 games. I really do think that the Bucks do have the pieces to contain the best players on Boston. So yeah, we're going to have a Bucks and Warriors series, and I think the Bucks win that series in 6. No one's stopping Giannis at all. No one is stopping Giannis. Drew Holiday, I trust Holiday on Steph. Holiday's one of the best defenders in the league. So I do trust Drew Holiday. I think he can contain Steph. Then, we have Klay Thompson. I just don't... the Bucks are a far more physical and more dominant team than the Warriors are. So that's what I think. My NBA final prediction are the Warriors and the Bucks in 6. So yeah, that's it for basketball. Now on to, I really don't want to talk about football. I just wanted to focus on basketball a little bit. I actually, you know what? The NFL draft is in 2 weeks, so I will be streaming with. I hope I can get a stream with Matt and Vicente like we did last year, and then that whole time, of course, we're going to talk football because, I want to get on early and talk about the Eagles, talk about all the moves, all like the big moves that happened in free agency and whatnot. So, yeah, we can do that before the draft and give our reactions to the draft. And now that I'm back in the proper place with my proper streaming software, it'll be a lot better here because, listen, last year I was not in the right place. Everything was being worked on through my laptop. It was so difficult to run that stream through, and it came out pretty well, but it was so difficult to do on here, on like over there. So this year will be different. It's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm psyched. So yeah, that's all I have today. Baseball did start. The Rays are 12-1. The Phillies just lost today by quite a lot. We're not looking good right now, but Bryce Harper should be back soon, here's the thing. With Bryce Harper, I don't like the idea of us rushing him back. Now, me and Matt did talk about it. Matt doesn't think it's such a bad thing, like Bryce knows his body. That is fair, but here's the thing. A UCL injury is no joke, and we are stuck. I'm not saying like it's a bad thing, but if Harper tweaks that elbow and it becomes a nagging injury for the rest of his career, we have Harper for another 10 years. And we are stuck paying him top dollar even if he tweaks his elbow. Like, if he tweaks it again, it's going to be bad. He won't be the same. I personally don't think he'd be the same player he is now. But I don't think it's a good idea to rush him back when we literally have 10 more years out of him and we're paying him top dollar. It would be foolish to rush him back. That's why I'm hesitant on it. I'm looking at it through the long term. It would be bad long term if we rushed him back and he suffered a, God forbid, knock on wood, nasty injury. So, yeah, but we're struggling right now. Our pitching sucks. Nola, here's the thing. I've said it for a while. Aaron Nola sucks. He is so overrated. I hate when people are talking like, oh yeah, that's our ace. I'm finally happy that people came to their senses after his fucking daily meltdown on opening day. I heard he wanted $200 million. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is true, he's certainly not getting it with the way he's been playing. But he was so. He's not our ace. He's not even the best pitcher on our team. Our best pitcher on our team is Zach Wheeler, in my opinion. But with the way this season has gone, I genuinely think Strom, I think that's how I pronounce his name. Listen, I don't follow baseball as much as Matt Vicente. Don't criticize me. But, yeah, Strom has been our best. He's been our best pitcher this year. Normally, like Matt told me, he's normally a closer, but he's a starting five pitcher right now because the injuries to Andrew Painter, Ranger Suarez. I can't wait for Suarez to come back. Suarez did great for us in the playoffs last year. I like Suarez. Once they come back, I think we'll be fine. But yeah, he's been doing a pretty good job as of right now. He's been holding like the fort down on his part. But yeah, Nola, I'm not paying him $200 million. If we do, it's going to be fucking stupid. Sorry to curse, but it's stupid. I'm not that big on Nola. I've never been that big on Nola. He's a professional bedwetter. I swear, he will get. Me and my uncle say it all the time. He's only good for like 40 pitches. After 40 pitches, once he throws one bad pitch, I've never seen someone collapse so quickly. After one bad pitch, he completely shits his pants and then proceeds, like, he'll get like seven strikeouts. After he gives up like one homer, he's going to give up another 5 runs despite having a phenomenal first 3 innings. Like, I've never seen someone collapse so quick as him. I can't stand it. That's not an ace. A true ace is someone like Doc Holliday, who's really good. My favorite pitcher the Phillies ever had. Rest in peace, Doc. But, yeah. I don't like Nola. We can debate this in the comments if you want. I'm sure most of you agree with me. As far as I've seen in the comments, not many people like Nola right now. I mean, look. He's better than the pitchers that are available right now, but he should not be getting ace money with the way he's been pitching lately. So, we'll see. Like I said, I'm still easing my way back into baseball. So, baseball is not my primary sport. I go from football to basketball, and I watch both basketball and football religiously. And that does look bad on me because I run a sports podcast. And the fact that I'm only two-dimensional, like it does look kind of bad, but that's why I always wanted Matt and Vicente on here, because I've had them on here since day one. Like, they have the baseball knowledge, which is great. They can give you the insight better than I can. I want to be able to cover as many sports as I can, but me, I can only follow so much. So I can only follow so many sports. Like, I don't, like, they can agree. Like, my knowledge, I know a shit ton about football and basketball. I'm just not there yet with baseball. If I do, I will gladly talk about baseball more. I'm just slowly getting back into it. Hockey, I hate to be that guy. Not many people watch hockey. I try to get into hockey. I cannot. So, if you want hockey, I'm gonna have to get one of my other buddies on. I mean, Vicente did know some hockey. I don't know if he follows it or not, but with hockey, we're most likely not going to cover that on here. So if you're looking for Philly sports, especially in terms of football, basketball, and the Phillies too, you have this stream. You have us, and trust me, we will get to the point where Matt Vicente will be back on. I would love for it. I honestly haven't talked to them about it yet. We've just all been really busy. Like I said, this is my first time posting since February. We just have tight schedules. I'm just the least busy amongst the three, and I enjoy doing this. I know I don't get a lot of views, but it's something I love doing. It's something I want to do with my life. And even if it's only for a couple views, I'm happy to do it for you. And I appreciate every single one of you who watch. So, yeah, that's a little wholesome moment for you. But, yeah, that's all. That's all I have today for you guys. Appreciate you joining. It's always appreciated. And I will be streaming, and hopefully I get everyone back on for... Hopefully I get everyone for the NFL draft. You know, like last year we had Sal, Anthony, Matt, Vicente, D-Mike. If I get them all on, that'd be awesome this year. I'm looking forward to it, having like a little draft party. That'd be pretty sick. So, yeah, that's all I have. I will see you for the draft, and, yeah, thanks for watching.